Hi, I'm here with
Chihiro. I'm a senior designer for RuneScape, which is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game you can play in the browser.
And in case anyone hasn't seen the game yet, which it's been around for just over 10 years now.
Yes, we've been around for quite a long time, 10 years, 10 to 12 years, depending on when you count the start. We keep going. I mean, I think one of the things that's most remarkable about RuneScape is our ability to keep it going, keep the community happy, and keep providing new content. It's 10 years on, we're still going strong.
Can you tell us a little bit about the games for anybody who hasn't heard about it yet?
So it is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. So you know, a bit like World of Warcraft, I suppose. Don't want you to use that word.
You've been going longer,
but we have been going longer. You play in the browser. I mean, one of the big things about RuneScape is the fact that you can play it anywhere. You don't need to spend hours downloading a massive client, waiting several hours before you can even start playing the game. You go to our site, you click a few buttons. Once you've got an account, it's seconds to start playing again. You can do that whether or not it's at your home or in a library computer or your friend's computer or anywhere that has internet access. You can play our game. And that's probably the thing that makes it most different from most MMOs, because you can't really do that for World of Warcraft. It's fantasy. We have a very British sense of humour. We like to
a good sense of humour.
Well, absolutely, yes. And we're not afraid of that. You know, we have a very wide range of content as well as a very large amount. I mean, what makes us unusual is that we release content more or less every week, and the content update can be something fairly small, but you know, quite often it'll be a new quest, it'll be a new mini game, it'll be a new feature, it'll be a new activity that you can do.
Right.
And we've been doing that for the last 10 years, so we've actually got, you know, a shed load of content. Yeah, and we have a massive variety of content. We do single-player quests in a way which I don't think any other MMO does. Rather than just a whole load of fetch and carry quests. We don't like those. We like to put story in the narrative, we like to have dialogue. We've recently been adding some voice acting as well to try and make the experience a little bit more immersive. We have numerous different types of mini-games, completely different, you know, from big multiplayer mini-games to small group mini-games to mini-games you play on your own. We have a massive range of content, as well as the core kind of skilling, combat, all of that kind of thing that you might expect from an MMO. It's different from, say, World of Warcraft in the sense that you don't have a class that you commit yourself to when you start. You have a whole load of skills that you can level up as you wish, and you level them up by doing them. But that means that there is no piece of content that any individual character and build cannot access, assuming they put in the work to unlock it. So that means that you don't have to make lots of different characters in order to see all of the content, and you can do whatever you wish with your main character, more or less. I mean, you know, some character builds are better set up for other things, as I'm sure you. But
that's always
understand.
the way with these things.
But in theory, yeah, any account can play any piece of content given enough time and leveling.
So I've heard some stuff about the new combat update coming soon. Can you tell us about that? So,
those of you who might have played RuneScape in the past will realise that you know, our combat is not the most Twitch-based kind of combat that we can do, because there's various technical restrictions that we have, which means that we can't do the same kind of combat that a lot of the more modern games do. But it has been very popular. It can come across as being pretty simple. We're going to leave that element in, the sort of one-click to combat, and then you just wait till it happens, because we think there's an audience for that. But what we've been wanting to do for a long time is to add some depth to it, some tactics and strategy to it, which in a more designed way. I mean, one of the things that has been a feature of the way that tactics has worked in combat in RuneScape is that a lot of it has been very emergent. You know, the hardcore players look very carefully at how our engine works and how things are timed and the order of things, and work out ways to maximise the damage potential and do as much damage in a short period of time. that's cool, and the fact that players spend a lot of time working these things out is brilliant. But I think, and although we do have some strategy in there, I don't think we've really implemented it in as completely balanced way as possible. So we're looking at, we have a combat triangle where we have melee, ranged and magic.
Right.
I think, we've come to the conclusion that it is a bit unbalanced, and that the problems with that are so endemic that we can't just tweak to fix them. And so the combat, we will look to do that, to completely make sure that all 3 points of the triangle are equally powerful. And also deal with a whole load of balancing and design issues that have cropped up over the years, because the game has been around for a long time, and the only trouble with adding content bit by bit is that the game develops bit by bit. Things get tacked on top of each other, and and that means that we end up with a lot of really good content, but it also means sometimes we don't have the overall balance that we want, and trying to change that can be quite hard. And also because when the game was first designed 10, 12 years ago, no one expected us to be around now. Nobody expected to still be, hundreds of thousands of players 10 years on, and the game's still there. I mean, you'd have been mad to predict that.
Yeah.
So, some of the design decisions that were made early on turned out to be short-sighted. We have some of the more powerful abilities in the game at, say, level 50, for example, 40 to 50. We've got 99 levels. When we have to provide some content for level 60, we start to run out of ideas, because we've already given the big thing that
go bigger
players
than
want.
the biggest.
Exactly, and that's just because when Paul and Andrew first worked on the game to start off with, they kind of went, oh, we don't need to worry about content for level 99 because no one's going to get there. We'll let them level that far, because some people might make a bit of progress to it, but we don't need to worry about thinking about the whole game for that long, because we won't last that long. 10 years on, we've got a whole swathe of players at level 99. Players looking for high-end content, looking for challenging content, looking for new content, and and I think that's the one thing I think we can do, which will help improve the game experience for everyone in the game, is improve the combat system. We're well aware that not everybody thinks our combat system is terribly interesting, and we intend to change that. Though obviously keeping the feel of RuneScape as it was before, and obviously working within the constraints that we have. I mean, we can't do anything.
And what's the feedback from the Clan Citadel's update been like?
I think it's been pretty good. I think the feedback for the sort of clan infrastructure overall has been very good. The clans have, we've had large groups of players acting as clans for a long time now, but it's only recently where we've actually been able to try and provide any support for them. So that was the first big part of the Clan Citadel's update, was actually to create the infrastructure so that the game actually acknowledged that clans existed, that there were groups of people that were all part of the same clan, that they had their own symbols, they had their own place to live, and the Citadel was there for that. It was tricky with Citadels. We didn't want Citadels to be the place where, when people came into game, that spend all of their time. Right. Because what's fun about an MMO is going out to the world, seeing all the people there doing different things, seeing what they're up to, trying to find, making friends, that kind of stuff. And if everything got focused on the Citadel, then that I think would be a little negative. So we've had a bit of a balancing act between providing content in the Citadel, which is interesting and engaging, and not taking away too much from the surface world. I'm not sure we've got the balance right yet, but I'm still thinking about it, and hopefully we can improve things there.
How has the reaction been to the stuff you're showing this weekend?
It's been great, actually, and one of the really nice things about coming here, as opposed to doing other things like RuneFest, which was the sort of fan convention that we've done, is that we're well aware that there's lots of people here who've heard of RuneScape, and but haven't played it for a long time. We've been having loads of people coming up to us, having a look and saying, oh, I used to play RuneScape. Oh, I played it 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, wow, man, the game looks so much better now. We've improved so much, and so what is nice is that a lot of people have played RuneScape. Not all of them are still playing, but we constantly improve the game, both in terms of the graphics, the gameplay, everything about it is improving week by week. So we get to meet some of those people who have had good experiences with RuneScape in the past, and you know, maybe they'll come back. Their account should still exist, so their investment isn't wasted. Have a look, see the new content, see what you think, and you know, maybe you'll get back into it again. I'd like to think you would do, because I think we've done some excellent work in the last few years.
Great. Thanks for chatting with us.
No problem. All right.